questions I've gotten over the past probably 2 or 3 weeks as we're reviewing, February numbers and March month to date with stores are, hey, why are my costs per click going up, or why is my engagement down? Well, there's a couple of things happening, and depending on the brand you're at, there also could be a couple of things happening there. So the first thing that's happening, the reason it's going to go down a little bit for March, there's more of March. There's more days than there were of February. So the spend's going to go up a little bit. The CPC is probably going to go down a little bit. You're going to have some movement on that because there's just generally more days. The second part of it is it's the end of the fiscal year for Nissan, for most of the Asian brands. So they're doubling down on incentivizing interest rates and offering monster bonus or rebate money, things like that. Whereas Stellantis' Tier 1 rate is still 7.26. They brought it down to, I think it was 4.5% for February, and I think all actually of my CDGR stores had pretty damn good Februaries. And then all of them are hitting the panic button now because they're short on their goals, and they want to blame the marketing companies or the advertising companies or the inventory or their salespeople. Go build out a car on your digital retailing tool on your website. What does it say is the Tier 1 rate for your company right now? It's 7.26. That's your Tier 1 rate for Stellantis, for CDGR. And Hyundai is the same. Hyundai has, I want to say they had almost an 8% Tier 1 rate. So I know the next question is going to be, but that's the OEM. I have to have them. Yeah, you do. But is there anything that says you can't advertise another lender, maybe a credit union or something that actually has a rate that people are going to want to do? If there isn't, then I would highly recommend that you start talking about that. In your website, under your finance tab, instead of just having some bullshit about who your finance department is and what they're about or whatever other bullshit you have on there that drives SEO value, why don't you have actually some content on there that's meaningful to the consumer, to the shopper? So here's our digital retailing tool, and here's the rate from the manufacturer, here's the credit union rate, here's the Capital One rate, here's whatever other lenders that you have. If it were me, if it were my store, I would have a page on my website of all the lenders I have and their Tier 1 rates right now. That's what I would have. And I would have links back to it from my social media. I would have a banner across my specials page, across my home page, across my SRPs and VDPs, all saying, check out our other lenders for optimum interest rates, or for your best interest rate, or for the finance program that works best for you. That's what I would be doing if I knew my manufacturer had a shit rate. And please don't come at me and say, well, this manufacturer has 0% for 36 months. Ain't nobody paying $1,400 a month on a damn Versa because it's a 36-month 0% rate. I mean, those are cash customers that do that, and all they're trying to do is keep their liquidity. That's it. So don't come at me with that, because that's bullshit. Actual decent 60, 72, 84 month rates, I would have a page on my website, like a menu, that shows these are the Tier 1 rates from these different lenders. Well, Candace, they change a lot. Okay, so change them when they change. Let me tell you something. If you're not looking at your website every day, you're doing your business a disservice. Candace, I don't have time. I would make time to make sure that my website was on point every single day. That is your net. And if your net has holes in it, you ain't catching shit. So you have to go and inspect the holes. Don't get pissed at your your vendor, your OEM consultant, your internet director, because they didn't find the holes. It's your damn store. You find the holes. Go look and see where the holes are in your net. Now, if you've hired the right people, 100% they are great to find the holes, but you need to listen to them. I have a lot of times where I've said something to the internet director, I've said something to the general manager that I thought was broken, that needed to be fixed, and then I come the next month and it's still broken, and I come the next month and it's still broken, and I'm bringing it up again and again and it never gets fixed, and then 6 months later you're like, God dang, my website traffic's really off. Really? That's a shocker. So it's your net. Treat it like that, by finding the holes in it. And I'm not saying you need to go scour your entire website soup to nuts every single day. No. Pick a page, pick a department, do a mystery shop, do a test service, schedule service lead. Different things like that you can test every day on your website. You can spend 15, 20 minutes a day and get through almost everything on your website, and then circle back around. By the end of the month, you're right back around to square one, and you've started over again at the homepage. Keeping that content fresh, keeping driving that SEO value add, speaking to what customers are actually looking for. Automotive news is a great source to see what's going on in the automotive industry, but you can just look at Google Trends and you can actually see, put in automotive, put in your brand, put in the geography around your store, the region, the area, the city, and figure out what's going on. So the major hurdles that I'm seeing right now for sales are the interest rates. Inventory is not as much of a problem. There's still vehicles that are high in demand and low in volume. But honestly, people are still going to be shopping. I mean, they're still going to be looking for pricing. They're still going to be looking for information before they ever walk in the store. And I've said this 100 times. The only thing you do by not giving someone who calls in and asks you for an out-the-door price, the only thing you do by not giving that number is you ensure that they will never come to your store, ever, for anything. So, and I can hear it already. I hear it all the time, is, well, if I give them that number, they're going to shop. So don't just give them that number in a vacuum, because I'd shop you too. Give them that number like you tell them, yes, the paint is blue, and yes, the price is this, and yes, it has power seats. Include it in the list of amenities for the vehicle. It's just another piece of information. We need to stop making it like it's the holy grail, and if we give it to them, that we're all going to have our faces melted off. This is stupid. So give them the information, answer their questions, remove the hurdles, and then give them a reason to buy from you. May I ask what you're using this vehicle for? Is this for personal use? Is this the second car? Is this the wife's car? Is this for your daughter? Is this for your son? Ask more questions. Stop just answering the questions they're asking and then not asking any questions of your own. The person who's asking the questions is the person who's in charge of the conversation. So if you're not asking more questions than them, guess what? You're not in charge of the conversation. So come to the table with questions to ask. Anytime you have a phone pop that comes into you, you should have a list of questions you're asking. You're going to get 100% of them, but I guarantee if you have a strategy going into those calls, you're going to get a lot more than if you didn't. You have to answer their questions. You have to. You have to present all that information in the website because they're looking for that. And if they find it on your website, guess what else they're going to do on your website? They're going to submit their information in a lead form, in a chat, in a text to hopefully connect with your team and have a dynamite customer service experience. And now you have a customer for life. I'm making it super simple. I wish it were that way. But think about it in that manner. You really have to make sure your net is without holes. You really have to make sure that you've made your best effort to put as much information out there to educate that customer so they know you're the subject matter expert and you have their best interest in mind. You can be that and do that and say that and still have a profit earning business. In fact, even more so because your long-term payouts for customers are absolutely far exceed the one and done type of sales. Anyway, I hope that helps. Have a great week. Happy selling.